Hello guys, good morning and welcome back to our video tutorial. Today we are going to go with chapter 2 of CCNA routing and switching. Previous video we had chapter 1. I broke it, or I cut it into pieces or into parts because of your network connection that you may have because of the poor network connectivity. So just to make things fast, so I have to put it into 3 halves. So today's chapter is 2 phases. We have theory and practical. So maybe I will just deal with the theory today, and tomorrow I'll do the practical and have it sent to you tomorrow. So you guys follow, and if you have any questions, you can ask me on the WhatsApp page or on the YouTube link. So if you guys have any problems, always lace to me and I'll give you my support at all times. Okay guys, so let's start with this chapter is configuring a network operating system. Like we know that all devices have an operating system, different vendors have different names for their operating systems, but this type that we're talking about right now is the Cisco devices. They have network operating system. They have an operating system called the firmware, and this firmware is called the iOS, the Internet Network Operating System. It's an operating system that interconnect networks. So that's why they call it the Internet Network Operating System. So basically what we expect to learn from today's chapter is that we'll explain the features and functions of the Cisco Internet Network Operating System software, that is the iOS. And the purpose of the iOS, from there we do the device basic configuration that we're just going to have that in the practical side. So I'll just talk about some few things there, but all the other configuration, all the others I'll explain them during my practical phase of video phase. So that configuring host names and so on and so forth, configuring limiting access and so on, all of those ones would come in the practical phase. So I'm going to explain those things thoroughly on the practical phase. So that's why this video may not be that long. And then also we talk about the addressing scheme. With the addressing scheme also I'll just have some explanation here. That is how do we get IP addresses and so on our devices. And from there all the rest will be a practical, and that will be on the practical phase video, which will be tomorrow. So guys, the iOS boot camp is a Cisco operating system, and the Cisco operating system, like all other operating systems, like Windows have Windows operating system, Mac has the Mac OS, Cisco has the iOS. So all networking devices and all devices have their operating systems. Like the Apple phones, they have Apple iOS, and Androids use smartphones use Androids, and tablets they use the Android operating system. So all devices have their own operating system. So operating systems in Cisco device, or these operating systems, as you may know, are divided into 3 parts. We have the cell, the kernel, and the hardware. So these are the 3 portions or the 3 parts of an operating system. The cell is the access method, that is whether it's a CLI or it is a GUI. Whenever you talk about CLI, it means you're dealing with command line interface. You are dealing with commands with a blue screen or white screen or a black screen with just text that you have to embed. So it's just like a sort of a programming. And you have the GUI where you're gonna have the apply, OK, next, like the operating system, like the Microsoft, where you click apply, click OK, next, finish, and stuff like that. That is the GUI, because you're seeing all those things. You just click apply, OK, next, you go. So that is the cell that allows you to deal with that interaction with your device. And the kernel it communicates with the hardware, and it manages how hardware resources are used to meet software requirements. That is the function of the kernel. You may be asked in an exam this question, so you have to be ready. And the hardware is the physical part of the computer, including underlying electronics, all electronics that are involved. So that is what this operating system is. So we move to the next slide. So the purpose of the operating system for Cisco devices is that you can use the keyboard to run client-based network programs, and use the keyboard to enter text and text-based commands. But the GUI, what it does is it allows you to use the mouse, it allows you to use the enter key, and then use sort of things, and you say apply, OK, next, click this, click that. So that's what the GUI enables the users to do. But what the CLI enables users to do is that they can just use their keyboard and type commands like copy, running, config, start, host name that. So you're entering your commands yourself, not your device telling you that this is what you should do next, and you click apply, okay, next. So you have to be ready to accept various multiple commands. Cisco have millions of commands, and if you have to deal with Cisco, you have to remember all those commands, or you will have to use some helps that will come subsequently. So there are many distance variations of the Cisco iOS. We have the iOS for switches, and we have iOS version for given Cisco networking devices and routers and so on. So the purpose of the operating system for all devices, that all devices will come with an operating system, but for Cisco's iOS, it has the features that that's possible to upgrade. Let's say, for instance, you have Windows 8 on your device, and then you want to upgrade to Windows 10. This is possible. You don't need to do anything. All you go to the network, you connect to the internet, and then you upgrade it, and you are in a newer version. So that's what this upgrading means. So how do we access Cisco devices since they are not GUI? Cisco devices can be accessed using the console port that is on the switch or the router, or you can access those devices, the Cisco devices, using the telnet, that is remote access, or SSH. Okay guys, so I still not feeling so good, so you can see that I'm still too tired. So the console port of a Cisco router enables users to connect to the Cisco router or switch out of band. The out of band is physical access. So you have to understand the difference between out of band and in band. When you talk about out of band, means you have physical access. Like right now I have my laptop and I'm touching my laptop. I can do anything on my laptop that is out of band. So I can use a console cable and connect to my PC's serial port and connect my RJ45 console connectivity, RJ45 connector to my console port of my router or my switch, and then I configure it physically, having physical or direct access to the router or the switch. But in a situation that my router or my switch is in a different location, how do I access it? I will use in-band. The in-band method is I will have to log in remotely. So remote location or remote login can be two ways. You can do it telnet, which is not very secure, or if you want a secure remote connectivity, you go with SSH. SSH stands for secure shell. So the encrypted version of telnet is called SSH. So telnet is the is a common one that many people will use. The traditional remote logging is called telnet. So you telnet or remotely logging into your Cisco device, and then you have your configurations. But the problem with telnet is that whenever you remote log in, you will have your password seen in plain text, and this is very dangerous. Your passwords are seen in plain text. You use the show running configuration, use your passwords in plain text. Hackers can just gain access to your password, and then they can change your password. And if the hacker change your password, that means you have a denial of service because you cannot log into your Cisco device. So if you want to avoid that, the best thing is you configure SSH. This is going to put all your password to encrypt. Encrypting means that it's going to change the text from plain text, like the ALIEU, that stands for ALIU. It will change it to hashtag X times this plus blah blah blah. So it's going to just mix this into a hash stuff. So instead of the ALIEU that you would see this funny text that you would not know. You can just have maybe hash minus plus that comma space. So you can have a mixture of these funny things that a hacker would not be able to see and tell, okay, this is the password. The next other version is that you can use this auxiliary port. This is outdated. Not many people are using this, and all the method of establishing connectivity to your Cisco device. So not many people are using. So in my practical phase, I will show you guys how to spot these ports. I will bring a Cisco router and a Cisco switch. I show you the difference between the two, and then I will show it to you on in this video, so you can see that port. I will show it to you. So how do I access? I connect to my Cisco device, one using console port, or I access it remotely using the telnet or SSH. But then what software do I use to do this? That is the problem. So we have this emulation softwares. We have different emulation softwares. But The most common that you will see in many places is PuTTY. Okay, but we use TerraTerm, we use Hyperterminal, Secure CRT, and we have those are the ones that you may have. But if you're using Windows XP, the earlier operating system, Windows XP, you may not need to install PuTTY, TerraTerm, Secure CRT. You're just gonna have your hyper terminal configured, that is this OS X terminal. You're gonna have this OS X terminal, and then you just click and then you open it, you have access to your Cisco device. So I'll have to show you guys how to do this. And the other thing is you can use PuTTY, and PuTTY, you can use PuTTY to do the configuration if you do not have, so PuTTY would help you to do that configuration. Okay guys, so that's it. Alright, so the Cisco operating system has different modes. So it's just like whenever you are introducing to something, it will be from name, from greeting to name to surname. You know, it goes like that, hierarchical in format. So the Cisco device, when you're logging into them, they are hierarchical in design. So you have the user exec mode where you can do a few things, then you move to the privilege mode, you can do another thing, you move to the global configuration, there is something you can do. Other modes like the interface mode, like the line mode, you know, like the router mode, you have different mode, DHCP mode, ACL mode. There are different modes that you can have, but these modes are hierarchical in design. So Cisco's configurations are hierarchical, so we'll have to look at that. So all this will be explained in the configuration when I'm doing the configuration, so you can know the difference. So we have the primary command modes. We have the user exec mode, where we call it the view only mode. The only thing that administrators can do here is just to view configurations, but they cannot do any configuration, they cannot go into any mode. So we move from that mode, that is just user mode. Most of the time you will see a greater than sign after the name of the device, like switch greater than sign, router greater than sign. At this mode, it allows access only to limited number of basic monitoring, and is often referred to as the view only. We have the privilege exec mode. The privilege exec mode, you will always see switch has tab or router has tab. So when I'm doing the configuration, you will see that I will be in these modes, and I will tell you how to navigate from these modes in our next video, because this is your first time, so you'll have to watch from video and understand. So what it does, it allows execution of configuration and management commands. It can do a few things. This mode will allow all commands and features. You can go into global configuration mode right from here. The user can use any monitoring command and execute configuration and management commands. You can view and you can do some configurations in this mode, not all configurations. So the primary configuration mode is called the global configuration mode, or simply the global config. Now at this mode, you can navigate to interface mode, line mode. All other modes come right from this branch. So it's like you have the tree, and then you have one branch. From that branch you step to another branch. From that branch you step to this branch. So this branch now is the one that has sort of a bantaba. So it will be open to all interface. So the specific sub configuration modes can be accessed from the global configuration, like the interface mode, line mode, ACL mode, DHCP mode, and all other modes, router mode. They all come from this global. So I'll show you this one in the practice.